Hey everyone, Brian Von VA here, back at it again, doing what I do best, delivering you guys and gals, ghouls and goblins, specters and zombies, a little bit of wholesome D&D content. So today, we've got What Are Some of Your Wholesome D&D Stories Part 2, featuring DoodlePoodle. That's right, we have a special treat for you today, and this first story comes from the D&D comic artist and friend of the channel, DoodlePoodle. You may have seen his Tales from the Tables comic, starring the fighter-turned-paladin, Angela. What you may not have known is that DoodlePoodle also plays Angela in a real D&D game as well. When he found out we were doing another Wholesome Moments video, he threw a couple of their group's wholesome moments our way to share with everyone. We sure hope you enjoy his stories, and be sure to check out his webcomic and follow him on Twitter. All the links are going to be in the description below. Now, let's get started, shall we? Our awesome Forever DM trademark completely caught me off guard with this little gem once our party hit level 5 and was about to start Dungeon of the Mad Mage. When we were at the Yawning Portal, my fighter, Angela, daughter of a Waterhaven officer of the city guard who went missing in shady circumstances, received a note urging her to come over to a blacksmith's workshop. The blacksmith turned out to be an old acquaintance of her father's, and he's recently finished what Angela's dad asked him to do, to rework his old suit of plate armor to fit his daughter and present it to her when the time was right. Angela, now a full-fledged adventurer, was naturally quite taken aback to receive such a precious memento. One detail caught her attention though. The pale blue tunic that went under the plates extended under and past the tassets where it formed what clearly appeared to be a feminine pleated skirt. Wait, why does it have a skirt? What's that all about? Angela asked, pointing frantically at the garment on the armor stand.
Isn't this exactly how you wanted it?
The blacksmith replied, showing her an old yellowed piece of parchment. On it was a childish doodle. The cute, smiling charcoal depiction of a little girl was holding up a little sword and clearly wearing a suit of armor with a cute skirt. The fighter's eyes welled up with tears as she easily recognized the doodle she'd made about 10 years before when she was just a child tagging along with her dad to see the smith.
I've been slowly hammering away at this armor for several years, resizing it. I remember your excitement when your father brought you along to my workshop.
The blacksmith chuckled.
Before he went missing, your father wanted you to have this armor once you were old enough. The least I could do was make it just the way you wanted it.
By this time, a couple of tears fell onto the precious parchment as Angie was struggling to maintain composure. The blacksmith sighed.
I can still change it if you prefer.
No! Angela exclaimed. No! She repeated more calmly, a soft smile forming on her face. I think it's perfect just the way it is. I swear the DM was choking up as much as I was when he delivered the scene. Some of you may have already seen a depiction of it in comic form. Do note there are heavy spoilers for Dungeon of the Mad Mage ahead. Our most recent wholesome moment was the bittersweet ending of Helith Garth's story in Dungeon of the Mad Mage. Following a grueling battle with a bunch of Nothics and Mizaloths, Helith finally tracked down and killed the last of his 3 former companions who betrayed and murdered him. At long last, the tormented revenant found peace. Finally, it's done. He sighed heavily, dropping to his knees. I hope you can find your peace now, said Angela, my paladin who was standing nearby. I must admit, I never really had a taste for revenge in life. But there is something satisfying in knowing justice was done to those who brought you harm. I will take satisfaction in that. I'm glad we could give you one last adventure. With better friends, Angela replied. Thank you. I truly mean it.
Not many would have taken a dead creature such as myself on an adventure with them. If I must be honest, there were many times that I thought you'd never return for me from your trips topside to Waterdeep. But you always returned and continued. I wish that I'd met your party before, instead of signing on with the fine fellows of Daggerford. Fine fellows indeed.
He turned to our party, known as
The best available.
to express his gratitude for believing him, for taking him along and accompanying him on his gruesome quest. He also specifically reached out to Bethanel, our grave domain cleric, who had been recently quite vocal against fraternizing with an undead being. But now, even Bethanel had grown rather fond of our undead friend. We all have. He's been tremendous help in battle, to be sure, but more importantly, I think we all connected to him in some way. We saw him as a de facto member of our party. And now, it was time to say goodbye to someone we've grown to see as a friend. Holeth offered the party his lucky coin, his holy symbol of Joaquin, his only and most prized possession.
Whichever one of you wishes to wear it, or just carry with you and spare a thought for me every so often, know that I will be in the beyond, extolling the praises of the best available. Farewell.
And with a smile on his lips, Holeth crumbled to dust.
Farewell, friend,
said Angela, lowering her head. Bethanel offered prayers for our departed friend's safe passage to the afterlife. The mood was somber. Then Hatterai, our wood elf ranger with a penchant for tagging every memorable location we visited, often to the party's frustration, with a "Hatterai was here" scribble, sometimes using less than sanitary mediums, approached the small pile of ash. Before anyone could react, he stooped down and wrote in it,
Holeth was here.
That nice, unexpected gesture of his was the final piece that triggered our wholesome overload. There wasn't a player in our group who wasn't hit right in the feels at that very moment.
TLDR.
Lawful evil Warlock is slowly but surely being dragged towards being a good girl by the flirty but obvious cleric she's falling in love with, even as she denies it all. I'm currently playing a lawful evil Warlock named Lyra, who has been quite fun to play. Most of the time, the party assumes she's just closed off and quiet, but one particular member of the party, the female cleric, Aaliyah, has seen more of Lyra's true self. She's a cold, calculating bitch who generally does not care about anyone except her immediate family, and will be very open about that fact if she considers someone to be useless. She can, however, be very kind, to people whom she believes to be an asset to her in the future. At this point in the campaign, Elia has met one member of Lyra's family and knows her family secret. Lyra was a noble woman in another country married to the leader of their noble house, House Quallen-3. House Quallen-3 was betrayed by the other two noble houses unexpectedly, and every member of her house was killed, including Lyra's husband. The only people to escape the slaughter were Lyra, her two sisters, and their families, her brother, and her mother. Lyra knew a secret about Elia's family too, as was present when Elia attempted to contact her father, only to find that he had been captured and was being tortured for information about Elia's whereabouts. Not long after they first met, the two of them also realized they were the only members of the party who spoke Sylvian. So they became the
Sylvian Squad,
who would occasionally talk to each other in Sylvian about random things like shoes and clothes and such, just to make the other members of the party jealous. So the two of them have formed a bond. And after Elia brought her back from being unconscious when they fought a demon, Lyra made it a point to keep her around, because she's proven to be very useful. This has led to some decisions by Lyra that she normally might not have made, like sharing a bed with Elia. and letting her black cat familiar named Starlight play with some sick children in a clinic to perk up their spirits. Essentially, if it makes Elia happy, Lyra does it, because she has a vested interest in keeping her happy. She's literally doing everything she's doing with a selfish justification. If I do things that make Elia happy, she'll support me when I need her. If I make the kids happy, Elia will like me more for being nice. If we share a room, it makes our benefactor happy, because he doesn't have to give us 2 rooms. If I watch over Elia, she'll go to sleep more quickly, which means I can go to sleep sooner. If I let Elia snuggle with me, we'll keep each other warm and comfortable, and we'll both sleep better. Right now, Elia's dealing with a similar situation to what I've already dealt with. She has people coming after her family to harm them. If I help her save her family, she'll be indebted to me. In her evil mind, everything she's doing has a looking out for myself reasoning behind it. But her actual motivations for doing those things aren't selfish or evil. She's actually starting to fall for Elia. The justifications she's convincing herself of are basically her way of denying that Elia is melting her heart and helping her turn good. As a player, I'm looking forward to when Lyra reaches the point where she can't deny the truth any longer. Love will find a way, as they say. TLDR, I gave a blue dragon therapy and saved a whole town by doing so. Alright, Dr. Phil, let's see what you got. We were starting off Horde of the Dragon Queen, spoilers, and all arrived by carriage to the town. Most of the party went to go look for survivors in burning buildings, but I, a dragonborn ranger that looks a lot like an Akholt, basically a quadruped killer whale from Inuit folklore, made a beeline for the center of town. There was a blue dragon circling overhead, and I started yelling to get its attention. 6 failed D100 rolls in, I got a 97, and it landed about 20 feet from me. I rolled perception while gazing into its eyes, and the DM told me that this dragon had a history of abandonment issues and an inferiority complex. Essentially, he needed a friend to pick him up. He wasn't in a blind rage, so I was able to speak to him in Draconic. This colossal dragon then had to listen to me appraise it by saying, "You are just as valuable and important a part of the ecosystem as any of us, and you absolutely deserve to be helped and appreciated for who you are." It just said, I'm not doing this today, and started to walk away. Our party's Quickling attempted to fight it once more, but they failed to pierce its natural armor on all 3 attacks, resulting in him being brushed away by the confused dragon. Our sorcerer then attempted to command the dragon to fly away instead of walk, but failed his roll and basically made the dragon angry. It turned its head and yelled in Draconic at the sorcerer, who didn't understand what they said. It then turned its head back towards me to see me smiling at him and waving while adjusting the salt water tank on my back. He nodded his head. I tipped my definitely not a World War I French Adrian helmet back, and then that was it. The dragon went home happy, the town got saved from further siege, and I got to potentially gain a friend for the coming campaign. I hope to see that blue dragon again. I have every intention of making them a drawing in and out of character. And that's how you actually melt the heart of a blue dragon that's just a little bit sad and lonely. Hey everybody, Brian Von VA here, back at it again, checking in after the vid. I actually got a little sad with a couple of these stories, just a little bit though. I do love wholesome stories though. Wholesome stories make me happy, and they should. So that being said, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and to ring that bell to get notified whenever we post or go live. And if you want to catch us ultra live, do so on our Twitch page, and you can check out our TikTok for 30 to 60 second clips. All the links are in the description below. Same with our subreddit, r/MrRipper, where you can submit stories to us too, and we'll happily put them in a video sometime. Now, I'm giving a special shout out to DoodlePoodle, which you can find them in the links in the description below on their Twitter, and you get to check out their comics too, which thank you for the story submissions. We love them. Please feed us more, because wholesome content's actually really good for me. I love wholesome content. It makes me smile. It makes the whole world smile. And I don't think anybody out there really wants anything more dark in the world anymore anyway. We need the sunshine and rainbows as much as possible. Even if that sunshine and rainbows is a little grim, I mean, we got to see the silver lining, you know? And that's my wholesome advice for the day, is just everybody out there who's listening in, look for the silver lining in every situation. In game, out of game, in the world, in life, in love. There's always something good there. There's always a good lesson to be learned from a failure. There's always a rainbow beyond the clouds, you know? And I just want everybody out there to keep at it and to keep going strong and to know that we always have your back. And hey, if you want to come say hi to me, just make sure to do so at Brian Von VA, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube. All the love, everybody. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.